What is up, guys? Rick Hackus here, and with the Taken King come and gone, people are already speculating on what the next DLC for Destiny will entail. There's a lot of theories going around right now about what this DLC will contain, where will it actually occur. Mars is definitely one of the main things that come up, and I'm going to put forth my kind of speculation, my fan theory essentially, on where I think the next DLC, or if not the next DLC, then the one right after that, or a near future DLC will take place. And I think that somewhere we're going to be going very soon in Destiny is Europa. Now, in real life as well as in Destiny, Europa is one of Jupiter's moons. What makes this moon special is that the surface of Europa is composed entirely of ice. Now, scientists speculate that beneath this ice may indeed actually be melted ice, aka water, and these massive oceans essentially beneath the ice sheets of the planet could very well contain life. NASA is actually very interested in going to Europa in real life, so it's definitely a location that actually makes sense to go in Destiny. It's one of the first locations that humanity would want to visit if it developed its space travel further. Now that all sounds cool, but what is the exact evidence I have for Europa being one of the future destinations in Destiny? Well, let's look at the past, because when it comes to Destiny, the past often predicts the future. And here's what I mean. Bungie has time in and time again, it's basically been proven at this point, basically what happens is Bungie bites off more than it can chew. And in development, it often wants to do way too much. It looks at the time period, scales it back, and then develops this cut content, the content that it had to cut from its initial plan, develops it further, and then later releases it in a DLC. Want an example of this? The Dreadnought on the Taken King, one of the main keystones of the Taken King, was actually supposed to be in vanilla Destiny. Again, Bungie realized that it was just not possible to have everything they wanted to have, had to cut it from the game, and then they later redeveloped it, worked on it further, and released it for the Taken King. The House of Wolves is another example of this. Supposed to be in the vanilla game, cut from the vanilla game, and ended up in a future DLC. So again, we just have to look at what got cut to figure out what's going to be in the next DLCs. Now what I'm going to show you guys is some concept art. Now this is one of the main pieces of Destiny concept art that was used all over the place when Destiny was kind of first announced, and it's very clearly a bunch of what were kind of proto-Fallen, it looks like at the time, that are on a completely like snow planet, which could very well be Europa. Now moving on to the next piece of concept art, we again see some very early development concept art, and we see them what looks like either kind of a desert orb. Considering how white the ground is, it looks again like a snow planet. Again, Europa is the prime candidate. Now to be honest with you guys, those two concept arts that I just showed you, although they very well could actually take place on Europa, those were kind of beating around the bush. This is the main piece of concept art I want to show you guys. This is concept art for Destiny taking place on Europa. It's not some ice planet. This is literally designed. Destiny made this, Bungie made this concept art, and it was on Europa. So this definitively proves that Bungie at some point was either developing or at least considering Europa as a place to travel in Destiny. In fact, in Kotaku's recent article that went over the messy development of Destiny and just kind of explained further all of these issues of cut content and reusing it for DLC and all this stuff, it mentioned Europa, and it actually said that Europa was supposed to be one of the main places you can go in the Taken King. What happened was they simply couldn't fit all this content into the Taken King, and they had to scale it back to just focusing on the Dreadnought. And again, guys, this is a prime example of looking to the past of Destiny to predict the future. Europa was cut from the Taken King DLC, and we have seen time in and time again that this cut content works itself into future DLCs, so that is what makes me really think that Europa will end up in a future Destiny DLC. Now there's actually also some lore involving Europa within the game right now. One of the Legends of the Nine states that there's ancient intelligent leviathans that are living on Europa. More notably, Trials of Osiris NPC Brother Vance actually says the quote, "Osiris stood before the Nine on the ice fields of Europa but the time wasn't right. Very interesting that they would mention Europa by name as an NPC that is already in the game right now. You can hear Brother Vance saying that sentence. And actually, we might be able to learn a lot from that quote. Think about it. It is for the Trials of Osiris NPC. Trials of Osiris was introduced in the House of Wolves. What was the next DLC that Bungie absolutely knew they were making? It was the Taken King. So that reference to Europa might have been thrown in to the House of Wolves just to kind of prepare us for Europa that was kind of supposed to arrive in the Taken King, which ended up not doing. But that quote still remains, so that's very interesting. Now, the next argument I want to make for Europa being a location in the next Destiny DLC is an argument that not too many people make, and is one of a marketing perspective, of a business perspective. Now, this is something that people often forget, but one of the main goals of the next Destiny DLC is going to have to be to sell well. Now, this seems pretty obvious, but if you think about it from the perspective of potential buyers, and let's take one of the leading other theories that the next DLC is going to take place on Mars, that is a hard sell from a marketing perspective. Hey guys, there's a new DLC for Destiny. It takes place on Mars. You've already been there, but it's more stuff on Mars. Trust us, it's cool. It's really cool. Honestly, again, that's really hard to sell a place that we've already been, and that's not really going to bode well, especially now since Fallout 4, Star Wars Battlefront, and Call of Duty all came out. So you're going to have to really give people a reason to come back and play Destiny. Now, an easy way to do that is to offer new content, a place that we've never been before. In the House of Wolves, it was the Reef. Hey guys, check out the Reef. The Reef turned out to be kind of a pretty lame social space that just kind of looked cool. It was just a remade tower, but they really hyped up the Reef. It was supposed to be incredibly cool. It looked very cool, and it was one of the main things they used to sell that DLC. What about the Taken King? Again, they used the new area. The Dreadnought was absolutely, everything was about the Dreadnought. Why? Because it was a new place we've never been before. Those are easy sells. It's very easy to sell people on, hey, you get to go to this cool new Ice Moon of Jupiter, and beneath the sheets of ice lurk giant intelligent leviathans that either have the power to destroy humanity or help us out of the Dark Ages and into a new Golden Age. That sounds like an easy sell. So in summary, why do I think Europa will be a destination in the next Destiny DLC? Well, first off, we already know that Bungie at some point was considering or working on Europa as a possible destination, and apparently was cut from the Taken King, and Bungie's cut content tends to show up in its future content. This is backed up by both concept art and actual in-game lore and quotes referencing Europa. And finally, from a marketing perspective, it's a lot more attractive to sell people on a next DLC that has a completely new location than a DLC that takes place on somewhere we've already been. Europa seems like the prime candidate. An ice planet has never been done before in Destiny, and it'll be something totally different than what we're used to for the locations in the current game. So that's it for the video, but what do you guys think? Where do you think the next Destiny DLC will take place? I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please remember to rate and share this video. It really helps me out. And if you want to see more Destiny content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can follow as well. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day. We need to make it to round 12.
Hold on. I have to go unplug my SCUF controller, get my control freaks out, get in my DXR gaming chair, and anything else that makes me a better player. I gotta go do that real quick. Oh yes, I need to go get my tub of G Fuel. I have the pineapple flavor. It's so good. Oh my god.